Pivet Dobro Perveskulov End Credit Reviews. Okay, that's my best interpretation of saying Russian for "Hi, welcome to End Credit Reviews." Kind of a nod to the whole Elseworld story of what if scenario, and then of course there's people in the media who be like, "Oh, End Credit Reviews is run by Russian troll bots." All right, so hi, welcome to End Credit Reviews, an episode of After the Credits on End Credit Reviews. This is Tyler from End Credit Reviews, and this is my review on the movie Superman Red Son. Now, Superman Red Son is the new animated movie that is direct-to-video by DC Comics and of course by Warner Brothers Animation, and it's based off the really excellent graphic novel Superman Red Son that I highly recommend. That graphic novel, I can't praise it enough, and I'm definitely more a fan of Batman than Superman, but this is definitely one of the best Superman stories ever, at least for this kind of like what if story, which I thought was very fascinating for what they did with it. But too bad I can't really say the same praise for this movie, because I wanted to really like this movie a lot. I was actually looking forward to watching this movie, and also I will say the beginning of the movie is pretty good. I really liked how it started, but sadly, it turns out to be one of those movies that starts off pretty good, but then it goes downhill later on. And I know I should explain the plot to this movie, but here it goes. I kind of got carried away there. But anyway, so Superman Red Son is about an alternate timeline. Superman lands instead of in America in the Soviet Union and grows up to have these kind of Soviet ideals, and also in this other timeline, Lex Luthor is actually the good guy and is married to Lois Lane. Now in this one we have Jason Isaacs voice Superman, we have Amy Acker voice Lois Lane, and Diedrich Balder voicing Lex Luthor. And I remember, I recognize at least one of the voice actors here. I think Amy Acker did voice the character of Huntress on Justice League Unlimited, and I recognized her voice. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Huntress right there. And this movie, why it was disappointing, at least actually talk about what I liked about it. So the beginning part I liked about it because I did like this kind of connection between Superman when he was a kid and also his friend early on. I guess it was kind of the Lana Lane-esque character. And also the opening credits were pretty good too, and it's rare if you ever see opening credits in movies these days, which I'm kind of nostalgic about. Like, oh, remember when movies were patient and they actually showed actual, opening credits to a movie instead of just being impatient and jumping into it. I also like the look of the movie, and I don't really agree when people say like, oh, the animation looks so cheap in that and sort of thing. A lot of people don't realize is this is a direct-to-video animated movie. It was never meant for a theatrical release. It's not like something like Pixar or Disney, which of course owns Pixar. What don't they own these days? As well as, DreamWorks and so on. Stuff like this has roughly a tenth of the production budget, at most, probably even less than that, of those movies, so they don't have as much money or time to work with, and of course more strict deadlines to get these things made compared to the other, big animated movies that we see released in theaters. But anyway, I thought the animation was pretty good, and there was some good action in this movie. But in my opinion, this movie really starts to suffer and really go downhill as soon as it really starts to divert from the source material. Now, I'm not someone who feels like an adaptation, if it's going to be good, it has to be word for word an adaptation of the actual source material and should be completely pure to it. But there's just some stuff where I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really feel right. I mean, some of the stuff includes Superman actually axing off Joseph Stalin that wasn't in the actual graphic novel, at least not from what I remember personally. I know it's a mild spoiler there, but anyway, but also there's this whole thing of like, they're trying to be like, oh, current year stuff, the whole, for example, in this movie, Wonder Woman, they say like she's not into men, I guess. That was kind of stupid, like that wasn't in the actual graphic novel. Also, there's a line when the Bizarro Superman, when he's being shown off to the press, he says America first. I started laughing pretty hard. Like, they didn't just do that. They didn't just... Oh, no wonder this movie currently has a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb as I'm recording this. But at the same time, I will say the one part about the movie they got right from the adaptation that they actually followed pretty closely is when Superman fights this version of, Batman, who's voiced by Roger Craig Smith. And I think the voice acting from him as well as the rest of the voice acting cast was pretty good. But yeah, again, this whole thing of Wonder Woman just like lecturing the audience about this and that and why men are bad and that sort of deal. There's a part in the movie when Superman's fighting a bunch of these Green Lanterns, and then she comes out of nowhere to be like this Ex Machina character and starts lecturing to him. Again, this was never in the actual graphic novel, but at the same time, it's just so on the nose. It really distracted me. It really felt more like, okay, here's the agenda we want to say, rather contradicting the actual graphic novel, where the people who actually wrote the graphic novel wanted to be an unbiased story and was trying to tell a story that was very straightforward and also complex. It wasn't trying to be pro America, pro Soviet Union. It was trying to tell a very interesting story that seemed very unbiased, which is one of the many reasons why I love it. But this movie, again, just really it really dropped the ball on that. So overall, I think Superman Red Son is just a disappointing movie that definitely had a lot of potential. I did like some aspects of it, but it really did shoot itself in the foot every time it tried to push some kind of agenda or some kind of narrative that really did contradict the original graphic novel. So as for Superman Red Son, I would give it about 2 stars out of 4. So anyway, this is Tyler from End Credit Reviews, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of After the Credits on End Credit Reviews, and I hope to make a lot more in the future. Please like and subscribe. Do Zbadania.